Hello everyone, and welcome to another Conan Exiles livestream right here from the Funcom office in Oslo. And as Multigun pointed out immediately after the scene switch, Robert has shaved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had an accident with a time machine and a lawnmower.
So, once again, welcome. My name is Jens Erik. I'm your community manager. I am joined by Robert, who is our senior designer. Unfortunately, Natasha could not join us for the stream today because she woke up feeling a bit under the weather. So send all your love in chat and well wishes to Natasha, and hopefully she will feel better by tomorrow. But yeah, so that is the reason why it's just me. It is the Jens and Robert Power Hour, which I think we'll do. I think we'll do just fine.
I think so.
I think so. But shout out to Natasha. We hope you get well. And we missed you at the office, so yeah. All right, no Farpoint. Joel did not die, but Joel is doing some other stuff right now, which maybe you'll get to see one day, hopefully. So it's
things we cannot talk about.
Things we cannot talk about right now. TM. You'll see it soon. TM, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, shout out to everyone who is joining us, both new and old, so to speak, to Snow Hunter, to Farpoint, to Old Tormentor, to Sidanio, to Multigun, of course, Mr. Play, Russell Wishart, everyone is out there who's joining us on Twitch, on Mixer, on Periscope, maybe also on Steam. I think we should be live on Steam as well. I need to check that real quick. Let's see if we're live on Steam. Fingers crossed. We are also live on Steam, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Streaming to 5 different channels. It's amazing what they do with technology these days, right?
Yeah. I remember in the old days.
When I was a child, I had to walk 10 miles uphill both ways to do a stream.
Yeah.
Now they just push a button. Anyway. Woof. Okay, so today we are going to cover some new content, which is making its way to Conan Exiles very, very soon. As soon as, hopefully, next week.
As soon as we can.
As soon as we can, hopefully next week. And we've got some new, like I said, we've got some new content coming up, which you can play a lot of this on Test Live already. So if you have already been checking out the Test Live build, then some of the stuff we're going to be showing might not be completely new to you. But who knows? Maybe we'll end up. Maybe you'll get to see something that you haven't seen before. We don't know. Hopefully. So, all right. Quick summary of what we're going to be covering, and then we're going to go into it bit by bit. So, we're going to talk a bit about population revamp, which has been going on for the past couple of updates that we've done.
Yeah.
Both on capitals and in caves now as well. We're going to talk a bit about temperature system changes. We're going to talk a bit about weapon balancing. We're going to talk a bit about attribute changes. And then we're going to take a look at the Warmaker's Sanctuary.
Yep.
And then intermittently, we're also going to take a few peeks at some new weapons, some new tools, some new armor things that people are going to be able to pick up and find. So there's a bit of this and that. There's a bit to go through. Yes, there's a lot to go through, and I think a lot of people are going to be really cool to. I think a lot of people are going to be really excited about seeing the Warmaker dungeon.
I hope so,
because I think it's a really, really cool looking dungeon. So I'm going to push this button, and then we're in the game. And
all right.
So
you're already dressed up in one of the new getups.
I am already dressed up in one of the new getups. So. If you're one of the people hanging out on our forums, then you might know about, well, you might be, following us on social media as well. You might know about something we call the Chosen of Asura, which is a, I guess, could you call it a reward? I guess it's a.
I think so. I think it's a shout out to the people that really help us and stand out in the community. On forums, they have a presence. They help with everything from like writing a comprehensive list of the summary for what we talk about in the streams. They report bugs very often and so forth. Yeah, it's just really helpful people.
Yeah, active, helpful, friendly parts of the community. We want to sort of give something back to them for helping us out and for helping everybody else out. So Multigun, for example, is one of those people, and the LOL XD, who's the administrator of our wiki, for example, is one of those people. Vatende, I think, has been picked for the next person. Yeah, maybe I spoil that now. Who knows?
Well, you kind of did.
Oh, whoops!
But no, it's
spoiler.
It's fine. Vatende, you're
shout out to Vatende. Vatende, who's one of the new chosen of Asura.
And Sir Bowen, of course.
Sir Bowen, one of the also one of the chosen of Asura. So and so one of the things that you get when you're chosen to be one of the chosen of Asura is you not only get all of the DLCs in perpetuity that we ever release. Perpetuity, thank you. So you get a bunch of DLCs, and we also make an NPC of you in the game. And any chosen of Asura will be wearing this lovely outfit, which is yes, the armor set of Asura, I guess.
Yeah. It's a well, I'm not sure if I mean, it works as an armor, but it's primarily a way to distinguish them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now also they exist in the game, so you can now go and beat the living snot out of the people that help us the most.
Yeah, because since they're NPCs, they can also be knocked out with a truncheon. They can be dragged back to your Wheel of Pain. Thank you, Jesus. Slow today. They can be dragged back to your Wheel of Pain. You can just stick them in there, and then you can tame them, and then poof. And I think we've tried to give them roles based on what they help us out with.
A little bit, but it's kind of hard to say that, hey, you know what, so and so is definitely a tanner in the game. Yeah. I mean, it's not like so, but yeah.
And so I think Multigun is a taskmaster because he helps us out quite a lot. He keeps people informed, etc.
I honestly cannot remember the profession, so I'm sorry.
All right. Multigun is an alchemist. That's what it is. Yes. And so we also try to give them interesting. Well, if they have interesting usernames on the forums, we might try to rewrite them as like an anagram.
Yeah, because
it's weird. It's weird playing a Conan game when you meet someone called the LOL XD.
Yeah. So Left-Alt-Fox is
which is a fantastic name. All right, so yes, this is one of the new armors. We've also got some new weapons that we're going to show off a bit later. But let's talk about population revamps.
Yeah, sure. So we started a couple of months ago redoing the population for a couple of the major cities. And of course, the first round, we only really did Sepermeru. We did the Asgard one, and we did the volcano. Now, every single major city, so to speak, has received a revamp. So now you have things to do in the Mount of the Dead. You have a lot of things to do in the Galleon and the Den and so forth, right? So we're moving forward with updating the population that's already there. We're putting in bosses, new loot, new functions, all kinds of stuff, just to kind of keep interest up in these locations, because previously you beat them and you never really had a reason to return, but now you do.
Yeah. Okay, so I should also explain that right now we're not getting attacked by NPCs because we're cloaked. We're also in God mode, so in case we fall down a cliff, we're not going to die. For those of you just joining us, we're talking about population revamps. We are wearing the armor set, the clothing of Asura, which is something that we give to community members who sort of make a name for themselves, helping us out. But yeah, so I think also some of the reasoning behind the population revamp was to sort of, I mean, on a visual level, it makes things feel more alive as well.
Certainly. I mean, there were locations that didn't really have a lot of things going for it, or maybe there were like population there, but not enough chests, or maybe not enough variety of population. So we've tried to address a lot of that stuff. And it's very likely that we'll keep doing these kind of things, but probably not on the scale that we've done it so far.
Yeah.
But there are still locations that we want to revisit, like the area right outside the Silent Legion dungeon, which name escapes me at the moment. The ruins of Salthar? No, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one area that I'd love to get my hands on and revamp. And of course, also, we want to look at the dungeons at some point, because things like the dregs, you go into it, you do it once and then it's kind of like, what?
You grab the armor, you get the journey achievement, and then you sort of move on essentially.
So we'll look at that.
And so this is something that we've done basically across the board, like across the entire map now. Yeah.
It's so the capital revamp is part of it. We've also redone the caves, meaning the caves that mean anything. We haven't done like anything into every single bear cave that exists, right? Because it's just just a hole in the wall, and then there's
I mean, there's a limit to there's a limit to how much stuff we can put into it, but like we can call them like NPC zones, sort of like where you would expect to sort of to find people, to
more interesting areas.
Yeah. And one of the things that I want to highlight, especially in the Mountains of the Dead, I know, like, okay, so spoiler warning, of course, because we're talking about upcoming content. One of the most consistent feedback we've gotten is that people want more NPCs to talk to, and they want like MMO style quests. And we have said specifically that we're not going to do like big MMO quests, but one of the things that we are going to add in this new content update, which should be coming out next week, is this fellow, whose name is Thor Garr the Blacksmith.
Yep.
And once I came here and I found this guy, I was like, oh, cool, this is a new dude that I can talk to. And he basically sort of gives you a quest to find his recipe fragment, his notes, and a crest, which he can then use to give you a scroll, which then gives you, I think it's an armor.
That's
armor
correct.
recipe.
Yeah. The pride of Aesir.
So what was the reason for doing this, for suddenly putting this guy in?
Well, it was really a new thing, right? Like, it's not something that we've done before to any kind of significant extent. I mean, we've had merchants before, but I would hesitate to call them quests.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we can currently do with our dialogue system. We hope to do more. It will be nice. We'll see the feedback that comes out of this one, basically.
Yeah. And I think it's personally, I think it adds, more. It adds more to the game. It adds more stuff to do, especially for single player players who, they want more single player content.
Oh, certainly.
Someone had a really good joke in chat asking what you call an alligator wearing a vest, an investigator, which I thought was really good. And so it's more than just new NPCs or new creatures or like a visual revamp, which is in a lot of these cases. But there's also new recipes, new kinds of loot.
Yeah, there's new recipes. We're trying to do something with every location. I mean, some locations really is a population revamp. There's a boss and he drops loot, right?
Yeah.
Other populations are a little bit different. There's one population that we talked about last time I was on, which is the Jumpy Puzzle. I'm not going to tell anybody where that is, and it is not the dungeon, as somebody basically has spread around this thing that it's a Jumpy dungeon we're doing, and that's not the case. It's another location.
All right.
But,
go on.
We're trying new things basically to see what players like and dislike, and if players really like some stuff, we'll do more of that.
Yeah, sure. I guess I just sort of felt our Secret World audience sort of recoiled of the phrase jumping puzzle, because I played Cost of Magic last week on a stream, and that thing.
I learned to do that one more or less by just like muscle memory after a while, because you want the I can't now remember what you get from it. Oh yeah, you need the token that you get.
Shout out to Jimmy the Rabbit, who watched me try and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail over and over again, trying to do the jumping stuff in Cost of Magic.
I'm now sad that I missed that.
So, what was I saying? Yes. So, a lot of people are asking about mounts, as they often do. And our statement remains the same as it was last week. And the times before that. Right now, we have no news to share about mounts. Yeah. If or when we do, we will obviously make as big a splash about mounts as we possibly can. But right now, we don't have any information to share about mounts, or news, for that matter. All right, another place that I really want to highlight is what was it called again? It was called Zalthar's Refuge, which has, as far as I know, gotten a pretty big change.
Well, the population is completely different. There used to be only crocodiles in here before, and really nothing special was going on at all.
Right.
And now there's a little kind of, I don't know, you could call them a mini cult, but
yeah, I'd call them that.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Inhabiting this cave, and there's of course a boss here, and that boss drops loot.
Yes, and that loot, I believe, might be this particular armor set.
Yes, that's correct.
This is the Sobek Armor, and for those of you who enjoy Egyptian mythology, that name might ring a bell. In the Conan world, he is
more of a minor demon type of thing.
Whereas in Egyptian mythology, he is the lord of a certain bodily fluid, which is quite interesting in my opinion. But yeah. I saw someone in chat asking for more medium armor. I believe this is medium armor.
That is medium
It's also epic medium armor.
Yep.
It's really good. It gives you heat protection.
Yep, it does. It gives you vitality bonus. It's legendary stats, so durability is quite high. You also have the Pride of Aesir, which is medium armor as well.
Yes, I'm not wearing that right now. That is something that you can. That is the armor set that you get from
Thorgar.
From Thorgar, yeah. And so. Yeah, there's a lot more to do now in Zalthar's Refuge. There are plenty of people to fight, people to, knock out and see if you can make them into your thralls. There's loot here. There's, of course, the boss. I really like this stone crocodile because it just looks... I mean, look at this.
It's a crocodilo.
It's really cool. Like, I think this environment is really, really good. And, of course, there's also crocodiles here still.
They have their pets still.
Yeah, so you can just make a beeline towards the boss, which is the dude up there, or you can walk around, explore a little bit, get some loot, etc., etc. And of course, I think we also mentioned Buccaneers Bay has also got.
Oh yeah, Buccaneers Bay have gotten a big revamp. There's a lot of stuff in Buccaneers Bay right now.
Yeah,
Vlad did a really good job there.
Shout out to Vlad, who is one of our new designers, who's done a really, really amazing job on all of this stuff actually. Yeah. All right, so. We're not going to spoil everything that's been changed. We're not going to spoil, all the. We're not going to show you all of it, but you're going to see some of it in the new trailer that's going to come out later. I think next week, once we actually drop the new patch, and then once that is done, then you'll get to run around and explore everything on your own. So we're gonna change focus and talk a bit about temperature changes. We're going to talk a bit about weapon balancing. We're going to talk a bit about attribute changes. And as we do that, I'm going to set up some other stuff. So we're going to do this button.
All right.
So we've done some changes to the temperature system.
Yes, as I'm sure a lot of people that have been playing Test Live have noticed. So the primary reason why we did this was that the previous temperature system was kind of iffy. We're still looking into if we want to change it a little bit more in terms of showing how it works. One specific problem with the temperature system right now is that it's only a punishment. There isn't a reward. And the thing that we've done now is to make it so that if you maintain a neutral temperature, you actually get you have it right now actually.
Yeah,
the soothing buff. Yes. And soothing is a health regen that runs on you as long as you maintain a neutral temperature. So it's not just a punishment system for if you go out and become frostbitten or anything like this. It's also incentivizing you to maintain an okay temperature. But yeah, there's a lot of changes that have gone into the temperature system. I'm not super familiar with all of it, but it is detailed in the patch notes.
Yes.
If you want to read up on it.
Yeah.
The big thing is definitely that we have the soothing buff. We have a new consumable as well, and people can drink that one in order to almost immediately get to like neutral temperature, no matter if they're overheating or underheating. I almost said, but overheating or getting frostbite.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic of temperature system, of course, people asking why Pictish armor, which has fur, gives you heat protection, etc., etc.
Yeah, that question always pops up.
Yeah.
So there is no lore reason in terms of balance for the game, really. We can drop something that looks like it would get cold and it gives you heat, right? But the reason is simply balance. If we notice that there's a lack of cold protection armor, we will be putting one in, even if it looks like it's not cold protection armor, basically.
Yeah.
It's really as simple as that.
Yes. And of course, you're welcome to give us as much feedback and suggestions as you know how these can be solved. One suggested maybe switching to radiant and picked armor temperature protection.
We're not going to be switching anything. Not from the DLCs at the very least, I'll say that.
Okay, good to know. Another thing that we have done is we have done some changes to attributes.
Yes, actually quite a number of them. The biggest thing, I think, is that survival is now much more important. Certainly if you have certain conditions, right? So for every single point in survival, the amount of ticks applied to you by bleed, cripple, sunder, and etc., those effects is 1.2% less. So what that means is that if you have a high survival, your bleeds will just go away much quicker than before. Same thing with any kind of negative effect, really, poison, gas, and so forth. So survival should be more useful in addition to that.
Absolutely, because I think for starting out at least, like it seemed to be just the food stat. Like it was sort of a dump stat. Like once you'd fill out your strength, your vitality, and your grit, you were like, I'm just going to put some points into survival so I can eat uncooked food, for example.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
The other dump stat has always been agility, at least for me. We've done some stuff there as well. Agility now provides 2 armor points per stat point instead of just 2. So we double the amount of armor that you get from it. We've also adjusted the 10-point perk for agility, which is called, I just need to look at that, Iron Endurance. So sprinting with agility should now cost much less than before. So we did that. We've also done an adjustment to the accuracy 40 perk, which used to work. Well, it worked, but players never really saw the benefit of it because the adjustment was so tiny. And the problem there was simply a math error in the blueprint.
Okay.
But it's fixed now, and now instead of multiplying any current armor penetration, so let's say that you had 1.2% armor penetration, what it would do is multiply 1.2 by 1.5. And you'd end up with like negligible effects.
Yes.
But now it adds a set 30%. Just if you have 0 armor pen, boom, now you have 30. So that's been changed.
Someone brought something up in chat, and I wanna. Yes, it was Thomas who Ira. I can never pronounce. That's what I'm trying to say. I can never pronounce that second part of their name. Who asked if they could walk through fire orbs with high enough survival attributes?
Well, fire is a damage over time that isn't really a poison or a gas, right? Also, the amount of ticks are reduced, but for effects that are permanent, such as obviously fire is always going to tick as long as you're in it. It doesn't have an effect for that.
Right. And now, of course, people are also saying that they're going to need more points to use.
Of course, they would like to. The idea is to have a use for situational builds, right? Like we have a number of ways that you can reset your points. And of course, armors give a variety of different bonuses as well. And I think instead of giving more points so that you can always have everything, it's much more interesting to kind of see, okay, look, I need to do this type of content now, so therefore I want to do a specific build maybe.
Yeah.
You can, of course, you can try to go for some all-round build. I mean, I mostly do that myself, where I have 20 survival, for instance, because I'm always gathering something.
Yeah.
But the new tools, amongst others, will help with that, because the new tools that we have actually add +5 survival. And the entire set from Asura, if you have the entire set of Asura equipped, it adds 15. So if you really want to have a baseline survival, yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, wow, so that is a lot of survival.
Yeah, so if you want to have a baseline survival, then you do that, and you can stack yourself up in other things, right? Yeah. So we're looking into doing more of that stuff.
And then we also have attribute potions.
Yeah, certainly. We have a lot of the bonuses come from that.
So there's more than just putting points into things here, which will boost you in different directions. But I mean, you do sort of end up in a situation where you're drinking a bunch of potions and just like.
Yes, sure.
But at least we feel like it adds more variety, more viability.
Viability.
Yeah, to like different sets of builds, and you can play around with it basically.
Yeah.
And so stock up on a bunch of Yellow Lotus or the other ones, because I think we split it now where there's one potion that wipes your feet and one potion that wipes your attributes.
Yes, if you learn the Jabal Sag's I can't remember the name of it now, but it's a set of recipes that you get from the guy that teaches you the Jabal Sag dungeon entrance. You get the potion of bestiality and the potion of bestial knowledge, and the other one is potion of natural learning. Yes. And those can reset your attributes, and the other one resets your feat points.
Yes, bestial memory, a potion that resets attributes, and natural learning resets feat points. So you should stock up on some of those as well. Alrighty, and of course, let's see who asked that question. Let's see if I can find it.
Gas orb is not a poison, by the way. It's a continuous effect. So, sure, it's a poison, but you know, while you're in the effect of that.
Someone also asked if there would ever be perks or attributes for the different races, and I think we've said before that races are purely it's a role-playing feature.
Basically, yes. It's not impossible, right? It's absolutely not out of the question, but it isn't something that we're looking at right now. I have it noted down in my want to implement this type of notebook, but right now it's not on the in the planning.
No, but we know that it's something that people want. We know that it's something. We know that it's a step people feel like we should take because they want it to be more like an RPG, and we're sort of trying to find that balance between, you know, trying to like being a survival game and also having RPG elements, but then you don't want to go we're trying not to go full on in sort of each direction.
Yeah, Conan dips its fingers into many different categories: RPG, survival, PvP, PvE, PvEC. I mean, there's a single player. There's a lot of stuff to cover.
Absolutely, there's a lot of different things that we need to do in order to try to make people happy, and we know that we can't make everyone happy 100% of the time, but we try to make as many people as happy as possible, as often as possible, with the changes and the things that we add to the game. And we always welcome your feedback. We always want to hear what you have to say, as long as it's, you know, constructive, and we will hear your suggestions if you just post them on our forums.
Yeah. And vote on Trello to keep up with your favorite bugs and all this kind of stuff, right?
Keep up.
Your favorite bugs.
I don't think I have. I don't like bugs. Just both in game and in general.
No, I have a favorite.
Well, I have one. There is one, and that's the one where the heavy animals get really light when you kill them.
That's the one. We're never fixing that. It's not happening. It's too fun to be. It's too fun to fix.
It is kind of amazing when you have someone fighting a giant elephant and then it just goes. Whee!
Yeah, you get launched.
So finally, weapon balancing is also something we're doing with this content patch.
Yeah. So spear meta. Let's talk about what.
Yes. The spears.
Of course.
Here's one.
Spears have always been a mainstay in Conan, especially in PvP, as I'm sure everybody knows.
Yep.
And the reason for that, it has very long reach, it has a very quick attack, and it has the possibility of chaining into another thing, and also these stun. And in addition to that, it's one of the highest damage things in the game. We've adjusted that. We did minor adjustments. That wasn't enough, and now we've done more adjustments, basically. Last patch had us put out some changes to daggers and hammers, specifically. We felt like they needed still a little bit more of a tweak to get them up to par. We've done so. Now it should be easier to hit with them. It should be equally easy to hit with a hammer as it should be a spear. We've also done some changes to one-handed sword, and just a lot of different ones, really. It's tricky to remember them all, but the big thing for weapon balancing is that heavy attacks now cost more stamina than light attacks.
Maybe we can demonstrate that.
Oops.
Now my grit is pretty high, so
okay.
Yeah.
It also depends on the heavy attack, right?
Sure. Yeah. So there might be a difference in. What's different here? Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, oh yeah, also very important thing that I forgot to mention when we're talking about ability or stats is that grit. If you pull up the
attributes, yep.
Grit, we have this thing called fluid swings, which is your basic attack costs less stamina. That used to only be true for light attacks. Now this is also true for heavy attacks.
Oh, so if you go very grit heavy, for example, in one of your builds,
yes.
then you won't. I mean, obviously, you won't burn stamina as much as someone else who doesn't.
You can attack more. Of course, you'll have to sacrifice something because you won't be able to. Well, you can go full strength and full grit as an example, but then you lose out on vitality.
Right.
So it's a bit of a thing, and we hope people find their kind of stat spec.
Sure. Something that was suggested, which I actually think is a pretty good suggestion, was maybe the ability to sort of like save your build for when you sort of
been thinking about that as well. I spec a lot using the different potions, and you go out to grind one day and then you want to do a dungeon. You're already specking once at the very least, and then you might want to do an arena. You respec again.
Yeah.
So 3 times per day is not unusual at all, and I know this, and we'll see if we can do something there. I'm not sure if that's gonna come out very soon or not, but it's a good idea and we should look into it.
Awesome. Well, excellent. And all the stuff that we just covered, the temperature changes, the weapon balancing, and the attribute changes can be found on our, I'm actually going to drop a link to that in chat, on the latest Test Live patch thread on our forums. Yeah, just be entertaining, Robert, while the chat program tries to keep
I don't know how to
keep pace with how everything is going. I'm just going to close this window and reopen it. Ah, there we go. Send that out to people, hopefully. And yes, so I just dropped a link in the Twitch chat, in the YouTube chat, and the Mixer chat. So if you're interested in reading more about some of the changes that we've done, you can find it in as much detail as we're willing to give you in there. And yeah, once again, shout out to Vlad, one of our designers, who has, I think he's done a lot of work on this stuff.
He's done a lot of work on a lot of the different stuff. I mean, I think that in general, having a new designer on the team is good for many reasons, but least of all being we have more people.
Absolutely.
Which is really good. So we can do more stuff.
Yep,
as simple
absolutely.
As that.
All right. I do think that it's time to talk about the Warmaker dungeon. And players who have been with us for a while might know of the character called Warmaker Clail.
Yep.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
That's correct.
Who is one of the Giant Kings who are still, I think he is physically still alive in the Unnamed City.
Yes, he is standing in a specific place in the Unnamed City.
Yes. And he has a sanctuary, or stronghold, if you will, which you can find out in the desert somewhere. If you play the game a lot, you probably already know where this is, but we're not gonna spoil it for you right now. But
it's not very hard to find out where.
It's not very difficult to find. You'll find it. But before we do that, I want to do a giveaway. So I'm going to open up a giveaway in the Twitch chat. Unfortunately, this is Twitch chat exclusive due to how the chatbot is set up. But we are still looking into solutions for how we can do giveaways on all channels simultaneously. But if you're in our Twitch chat, then hopefully once I click this button, the giveaway will be opened, and you should be able to enter into it. Hopefully, I'm going to check Twitch and see how this goes. If not, then yes, exactly. So just type !Chrome, and then because I wanted it to be something else than raffle, because usually it's just raffle, and then you just have raffle, and someone writes waffle, and then one point it should be waffle, and then a lot of people are just going to type raffle, and then one person who types in waffle is going to win it. Anyway, so I'm going to let that run for the next 5 minutes while we guess we can talk about some of the new tools as well, because for the first time I think we have epic tools now. Yeah,
legendary tools.
Legendary tools, yes.
We haven't had legendary tools for a very simple reason, because I haven't thought about them. These are actually the idea of a guy called Kipran. So if you meet him, poke him about this is all due to him. He had the idea of these, and I was like, oh yeah, we should actually do that. So these are kind of a tribute to him, I guess. But the legendary tools have a very high durability. They are hardened as one of the bullet points to say. That's what hardened means, so that they just have increased durability. They also have higher gathering rate than any other tool, and they look nifty.
They look really, really cool. I want to whip this one out just to... Oh, that's the wrong button. Just gotta get some light on this thing.
There. You can't really tell in this light, but they're kind of red.
Yes. And so it comes in as many tool sets as we usually have. Oh, I need to unlock this.
Yeah, it's got everything, every single tool except for the butchering knife.
Why is that?
Because I forgot.
Well, it's a good thing that you're honest, Robert, with both me and the community.
Let's call it balance.
Yes, let's call it balancing. And so repairing these is done with a legendary repair kit, I assume?
Yes.
Yes. So you need to stock up on those if you're going to be stocking up on legendary tools. And I think these are found in a specific place
that is
part of the content revamp.
Yeah.
It all comes back to each other.
It really does. Oh, quick thing about the content revamp. There are places in the world, these dungeons, that if you go in there and there isn't a boss there, it's because it might be a rare one.
Right. And so rare bosses are, obviously, it's in the name. They are rare. They might not appear all that often. And do they drop more exciting loot? Okay, I will take that as a yes. And so I think we mark them in certain ways as well.
Well, we have the triple skulls underneath most of them.
Mm-hmm. And then, so yeah, if you're not finding a specific boss in a place, then maybe they just haven't spawned yet.
Yep.
All right. Another thing that we forgot to mention earlier is this new lovely Black Corsair set, which is it's a red pirate outfit, which I think looks really cool, and I just wanted to highlight it because I think it's lovely, and I like the pirate armors that we have. I think our character artist did a really good job on them.
They look really nice. Also, this is a mishmash of different armors, actually.
And it gives you an agility bonus if you need that. And since, it's light armor. And yeah, because this is pirate. This is pirate. I think this is...
I think it might be Gemite.
Yes, probably. And then there's pirate again, and then something else. So I think it's a really good job. And even... Yeah, it's a good coloring job.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna load up this armor of Sobek because since this is a dungeon, we should maybe try to gear up a bit.
I'm waiting for whomever comes up with a Red Cross armor joke first.
For this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but they usually wear that's the United Nations, the blue helmets.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. My bad. So it's either Red Cross or maybe Doctors Without Borders, because they're also white and red, I think.
It could be.
Anyway.
All right. Warmaker.
Warmaker. I'm gonna load up with a new bow, which is called the Goat Horn Bow, which is a reference to one of the people who came in as a runner-up in our building contest. I'm blanking on their name right now, but he told us a very lovely story about a goat.
She, I think.
She. Whoops.
I might be wrong there, but
sorry.
I think.
Told us a very lovely story about a goat that they kept encountering when when they were building, and so we decided to put a reference to that goat in the game, and you can actually find that goat if you know where to look for it. It has glowing demonic eyes, and the goat will drop the bow for you.
Yep.
Which I think is really exciting. So we're still cloaked. We're still in God mode. The reason for that is because I don't really want to fight all these skeletons.
Yeah, we should probably not try to fight our way through the dungeon.
Yeah. So explain the Warmaker Sanctuary, because we haven't set it up that well, I feel.
Right. The Warmaker Sanctuary is a new dungeon that's aimed towards high-level people. The idea is that you can probably do it solo. It'll just take you a while.
Mm-hmm.
The best experience is probably a group of like 2, 3, 4 people, something like this. We also wanted to give out a bit of a new experience with this. Like I said in the last stream I was on, going into the dungeon now, or dungeons coming forward, we want to put in more stuff than just, corridor boss. We're still stepping towards putting in more and more exciting stuff. So this is yet another stepping stone in that direction. Yeah. I mean, the path to perfection is not itself a goal, right? So we have a lot of bosses in this dungeon. We have some new features in this dungeon, which I suspect we'll get to very soon.
That is the idea.
And we have a very small puzzle, although I kind of hesitate to call it a puzzle. It's a way of unlocking a door.
Yeah, so, it's a bit of a puzzle, because if you don't do things right, then it hurts you.
Sure.
I mean, we can say that, right? Because we're gonna show it anyway.
Fair enough.
All right.
So yeah, you're gonna need a key for that.
Oh, that's from the that's from the chest. That's
very
very convenient, though.
Well, yeah. So we tested this internally,
right?
And then we noticed that if I die at the end of the dungeon with the key on me, I can't get back because the guy is in the way. The guy that drops the key originally. So, so simple solution is put a chest there, basically.
Yeah. And so you come to this central hub, and you have a bunch of different doors to choose from. And also on the map here is a map of the Exile Lands before the sandstorm came in and wrecked like the southern parts.
That is correct.
And as you can see, a lot of these places aren't in as much ruin as they are in our game. So this is the Exile Lands as it should be, like in its heyday. And then you have all these pedestals set out at various intervals, and as you can probably guess, there are things that you need to put inside the pedestals, etc., etc., etc. And before we
need
go
to find them basically in the dungeon.
But before I go any further, I'm going to pick a winner of a DLC key of their choice, and I hope Andy is watching in chat, because he's going to be the one person who's going to send them a key. So I'm going to click the first button, pick winner, and the winner is the Setsunob.
Where the heck do you see that?
I see it right there.
Oh, there.
Yes, and it also says it right here. So I'm going to click this button, which plays the congratulations theme. And if you shout out in chat, then we can send you a key. So Andy, if you'll just whisper to him, or Natasha, whoever's in there. I think Natasha's in chat as well. I hope you're feeling a lot better than you did this morning, and we hope you'll be right as rain very, very soon. And I'm gonna pick another winner towards the end of the stream as well. So we're just gonna let all these people sit there. All right, so we need to find some things to put in this thing here.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna run in this direction.
All right.
And as you mentioned, this is meant to be a group dungeon towards the end game. So you will be facing down a lot of skeletons. You'll be facing down a lot of tough enemies.
So the denizens of this dungeon are fairly difficult. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. They also, some of them come with some surprises.
Yes. And then once you get to the end of one of these corridors, you will be face down with one of the Giant Kings. I guess not all of them has been, well, not all of them have been wiped out yet.
Well, these are the servants that are left behind.
Sure. And then we're just going to cheat a bit and just click this button right here, which then kills him automatically because it's a demo on a stream. And then you'll be able to collect a really cool weapon, and you'll be able to collect a statue. What do you do with the statue? You read the item description, which then says that it has grooves along the bottom edges as if it's frequently scraped against metal holders. And I'm just going to check out this new hammer. This sweet new hammer that I got, which I think looks really good.
So all of these also drop an assortment of loot.
Yes.
He can drop up to, I think it is 6 different weapons.
Yeah, because the last time I did this, I got something else from him, which
there's Ranison, Mordlin, can't remember the names of all of those guys now. There's a lot of different ones.
Yeah, and then there's 6 per
boss.
Per boss, yeah.
But they also have their separate themes, because the guy that you just whacked is the actual the servant of the Warmaker.
Right.
The other guys are the servant of the Priest King and the servant of the Archivist, and they drop themed loot to their kind of profession, if you will.
That makes sense. And then so we got the statue of the Warmaker, and you might have noticed that some of these holders sort of, in general, correlate to where you'll find these specific characters, so you can probably put things together from there. And
if you know where things are in the game, it'll be an easier thing.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think we should spoil more.
No, but then once you fight your way through the dungeon, you will eventually unlock I think what is the main door.
Yeah.
Which then leads you to the final boss, whose name is
the Warmaker's Champion.
Right. Is that actually his name?
Well,
because
he probably has a name.
Okay.
But long since forgotten in the mists of time.
The reason being, because there's going to be a blog post about this update, and I just randomly called him the Warmaker's Champion, and then I'm very happy to realize that was actually is his actual name.
His real name is Jim Bob.
Fuck. Okay. So you go in, you fight Jim Bob, and it's a really cool fight, I have to say. I kind of want to show some of it off, but I also don't.
Right, so let me explain if you've watched some videos on this. Most of the people that go into this dungeon and take videos from the end boss fight do it in the way that it makes sense. They go up to him in God mode, and sometimes even in cloak mode. They hit him a couple of times and realize that this is not going to be fun for people to watch me basically face tank the end boss for 10 minutes, or 5 minutes really. So what they do is they shift, delete, kill him, which sort of doesn't display what he does. It's the first boss that we have that has actual faces in the game.
Yeah.
So let's just put it like he gets more angry the more you hit on him, and the more you hit him, rather, I should say. And he gets more attacks and stuff like this. So I'll leave people to find out what that means. But he's kind of nasty, actually.
Yes. This is live if you go to our test live client, which if you already own this game on PC, then you will already own the test live client. It is right beneath Conan Exiles in your library. You get that for free when you buy the game, and all the latest content will be on test live when we want some additional. It's basically our public test round.
Yeah. In
the same sense that other MMORPGs have a PTR. Overwatch has a PTR, if I'm not mistaken. So we're basically doing that. It's our way of putting patches, putting updates sort of into the wild without being. It's available for everyone, but most of the people who go there are like the very, very interested in testing. And then it's our way of gathering some extra feedback before we then bring it forward to absolutely everyone.
And we do enact on that feedback, as I'm sure people on Test Live will realize when we release the entire thing.
And so yeah, we've shown up some of these weapons. I also want people to take a really cool look at this sword of Enruka, which is a nice yellow sword.
It's gold plated.
Nice.
Is what it is.
Is it as brittle as gold usually is?
Well, it's gold plated. It's not made out of gold, because otherwise, it's so. And
I think also a lot of people might have seen this because I think he made a video about it, or he tweeted about it. Firespark.
You mean the arrows?
The arrows, yes.
Right.
Because I think it's a cool idea, and I want to talk about it because Firespark81 on YouTube has been it's been with us from pretty early, I think.
Yeah, it's been with us for a while.
Life cycle is what I'm trying to say, and has been a great supporter, and has been he has been. I'm trying to find the right word so it doesn't look like I'm sort of slamming him again, which I'm absolutely not doing. He's been a great supporter. He's been great at reporting problems, issues, bugs to us. Even when he's been critical of some of the things that we've done, we've always tried to listen to some of the things that we've said, try to respond to it in decent ways. Mm-hmm. I feel, at least. He's given a lot of constructive critique, as Natasha points out in chat. And so we wanted to give him a bit of a shout out in the game. So we added Firespark arrows, which are
they're the only arrows in the game that currently gives bleed. That's what they are. They only stack to 81, which is Firespark 81. Because we couldn't name them Firespark 81 arrows. That would be too on the nose.
Yeah.
But that's actually not the only thing that we've done for a YouTuber. I also made a. I'll let you guys find it, but there's a reference to Just Horse as well.
Yeah, and there's also a really cool Easter egg for another group of YouTubers, which I don't know if we should tell them.
We can probably tell them who they are. Right?
Yeah, we've added some Easter eggs to that reference Neebs Gaming, who have also been really fun to watch.
Yeah, very interesting.
Because they do some really cool, just like, oh yeah, Natasha didn't like that we spoil it. Whoops. But we're not going to tell you where to find it. You're going to have to look for it. But we've added some really cool Easter eggs to YouTubers that we've noted. YouTubers we want to give a shout out to, and we really like the stuff that they're doing, and we wanted to put them in the game and sort of honor them, some of the stuff that we've noticed. So shout out to Just Horse, shout out to Firespark, shout out to Neebs, and once people find it, tweet at us, I guess, at Conan Exiles on Twitter. Just let us know that you found it, or let everyone else know that you found it someplace as well.
Yep.
All right. I think that's it. I'm gonna pick another winner from the giveaway, because I think that's a good idea. And I'm just gonna pick winner again. So we're gonna do another drawing for a DLC key of your choice. If you couldn't enter the raffle earlier, then unfortunately it's not going to be possible to enter again, because I'm just going to use the same pool of winners again. And so I'm going to click the button pick winner, and the winner is TK4213. Congratulations so much. You get a DLC key of your choice, and we are going to reach out to you in Twitch chat in someone's going to whisper to you in Twitch chat. It's either going to be Natasha or it's going to be Andy, because I'm here running this stream. All right, but yeah, I think that is about it in terms of what we had planned for today. All of this stuff is available now on the Test Live client, and it is currently planned to roll out next week. And fingers crossed that we'll be able to make it.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, everything should be good to go. But you never know.
You never know. That's the problem, right?
Yes.
But we're hoping, yeah.
We are hoping.
Also, I will say one more thing, which is that if you have had questions that we haven't answered, because let's be honest, we haven't been able to. I can't look at the screen over here and also here and
talk at the same time.
Talk at the same time. What happens after these streams is that I go through the entire stream again, and I write down the answers to all the questions, and I give those to Multigun, and he writes up a report on that. If you haven't seen those reports before, again, he's a member of the Asura. He does his...
we usually pin those on our forums,
yeah.
Or at least he posts them on our forums. We try
so they're really good, and I try to answer as much of the missed questions as I can in those.
Yes, I did some notes here and there when I felt it was good to put some questions in. But yeah, as always, we have hundreds of people in chat across different kinds of places.
Yeah.
You know, we have a set of things that we want to cover, things that we want to talk about. And, you know, we sort of have to focus on things that are happening here. I mean, it's, you know, etc., etc., etc. But we try to get to as many questions as we can. And I think at some point, maybe we should just do like a pure, like, sort of Q&A style.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have questions.
Tons of questions, yeah.
What's my favorite color? Is this a Bridge of Death trap?
I assume that this is a Bridge of Death trap.
Green! No! Blue!
Ah! Do you know the average flight speed of the average unladen swallow?
Depends if it's an
African or
European swallow.
All right, we're gonna say goodbye. I'm actually gonna do it fairly quickly this time. But shout out to Andy for keeping it up in chat. Shout out to Natasha for also being in chat for talking to people, and congratulations again to our raffle winners. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what kind of stream we're going to be doing next week. It might be Conan Exiles, it might be something else. Who knows? We will see. You will have to find that on our channels. Tune in tomorrow for one of our variety streams, which is probably just going to be Andy and Nicole because I'm going to be out. If you're Norwegian and if you're in the Sandefjord area this weekend, then please come to Retrospillmessen, where both myself and Natasha will be running a booth. And then, before we go, we're going to do one final thing.
I'm going to find somebody to
find a person that we're going to raid. We're going to give them a couple of new viewers. So, let's see. Maybe, yeah, this person. So, we just need to get their username, put that in the chat.
Never seen the inner workings of how to...
It's very easy.
Streams.
You just do...
So,
yes.
I forgot one very important thing.
Okay.
This dungeon, I want to give proper credit to the person that made this dungeon, which is a modder named Snowhunter.
Yes.
You might have seen him in
chat.
In chat, or indeed in Discord. Snowhunter is the guy that actually made the layout for this dungeon.
Really cool. Shout out to Snowhunter. So if you're a good enough modder, then we might...
We might steal your stuff? No. We actually worked together with him.
Yeah.
So
in case people were wondering, like, oh, did you just take their idea and just... It's like, no. We 100% asked for permission. We reached out to Snowhunter. Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, they?
Yeah.
He. Okay. Awesome. All right. We're going to hit this button, which is going to start a raid countdown. And then once I click raid, then we should be good to go. So, give Violet Wolf all our love. Give her any tips and help and tricks that she might need. And until next time, we're just going to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.